Hi, and thanks for joining me on my channel that is dedicated to exploring living in the Tri-Cities, Washington. I'm so excited to share with you all that we have to offer, your opportunities for recreation, for living, affordable living, by the way, opportunities for jobs, meeting people, everything, okay? I'm really excited to share that. And at the same time, as I investigate further for you, I'm learning about things that I kind of didn't know about or briefly knew about, but I'm going to share those with you throughout my video series as well. So if you're interested in learning more and staying with me in my video series for living in the Tri-Cities, please subscribe below, and that way you'll know when I have a new video that's being released. What I will do is today, this is my maiden voyage for my video, and I will be giving you an overview of the Tri-City layout, getting around in the Tri-Cities, places that you might live, and then further we will go into delving into each of those locations and communities individually. My name's Kayla Corbin, and I am with eXp Realty. And what I'm doing is trying to encourage you to consider the Tri-City area as an awesome place to live. So let's get started. I have opened my Google Maps, and what I want to do is kind of take a focus to there and show you a little bit about the area. So let's do that now. So let's take a look at our map now and just get the layout of the Tri-Cities. Where I want to start is the Tri-Cities is located right here in Southeastern Washington. We are only 26 miles from the Oregon border, just south of us. Here, we're equidistant to either Seattle or Portland at about 220 miles per place. And you can get right down here to Seaside, Oregon at 290 miles. So everything is very accessible here. You can see all of the green. That's going to be your mountain areas. And whichever direction you go out of the Tri-Cities, you're only an hour and a half to the mountains if that's your thing. But we do have a lot of outdoor activities and opportunities here. Spokane's only 140 miles. That's an easy place for people to go. So let's zone in here on the Tri-Cities to get an idea of what we're looking at as where you might want to live. All right. So we are at the confluence of the Snake River and the Columbia River. So the Columbia River runs right through the Tri-Cities, separating Benton County from Franklin County. Franklin County being north of the river, Benton County being south of the river. We have 3 bridges that span that river so that you can easily access each of the cities. Basically, anywhere you live in the Tri-Cities, you can get somewhere in 20 minutes. So within the Tri-Cities. So that's a pretty cool thing if you're driving. We do have a transit system in the Tri-City area as well for those commuting. Lots of bike paths, and electric bikes are becoming more and more popular. And we've got miles of bike paths that you can use to either commute around the area to get to work or places that you need to go, or for recreation itself. So we've got the rivers here. So as I said, Pasco resides in Franklin County on the north side of the Columbia River. And then Kennewick here, being the largest city in the Tri-City area at 77,000, resides in Benton County on the southern side here. And then Richland is going to be over here in again, the southern side and in Benton County as well. Each of the cities has a park along the river. And in that park is a pathway for bikes and pedestrians to hike, walk, whatever you want to do. So there's really easy accessibility to the water here in the Tri-Cities. I've lived in areas that are on the coast, and the accessibility to the water is limited because there's a lot of private land. So you do have a huge amount of accessibility. If you like to boat, water ski, jet ski, kayak, paddleboard, or just swim in the water, or just hang out and have a picnic against the water, you have opportunities are boundless in the Tri-City area at all of our different parks. So that's an exciting thing. Like I mentioned, we have 3 bridges that connect the 3 cities. So here we have the cable bridge that goes from Pasco to Kennewick, and then we've got the Blue Bridge, which is probably our most common bridge because it is on 395, which runs right through the Tri-Cities, connecting Oregon to all the way up to I-90. And then we've got what we call the concrete bridge here. Every bridge has its name. So the concrete bridge, which connects Pasco to Richland. And interestingly, when you're driving on I-82, the speed limit's 70. When you're driving on 240, the speed limit is 60. Getting around the Tri-Cities is really easy. It's about 20 minutes wherever you go. And when you're going from Pasco to Richland, it's a breeze. We don't really have traffic jams. It will get backed up a little bit when the times of the day when it's, going to work or coming home from work, but that's just mostly on sometimes the bridge when they're doing road work or when an exit. But the city is addressing those issues right now to expand the highways. We're growing so fast, and we are developing new areas to live in. And we're finding as we do that, we need to work on the road infrastructure so that people can get around and we don't have those traffic jams. So speaking of that, one opportunity that brings a lot of people here is the out in the area. And that's going to be Hanford, Battelle, PNNL Labs, just to name a few. And the area is out here just north of Richland. So people that work out there, there's a lot. It brings a lot of people here. And so therefore it creates a huge traffic jam Monday through Thursday, early in the morning, because they mostly have to be to work like at 0700. And then they don't typically work on Fridays. So you might have more traffic on Fridays because people have the opportunity to go get things done. But just to go back to where people that are moving to work in the area, out at the area, is here in North Richland. And we will be going through a video tour of those types of homes there and where you might live. But people living in North Richland here are like 10 minutes from the area, getting out there to it. Another popular area to live is over here in a development called Horn Rapids. And we will definitely hit that one. It is a golf course and a planned community, and it's just doing really great. We have several mountains around the area, and we call them mountains, but it's somebody coming from like the west side or anywhere else that actually has mountains, Colorado, something like that, they would probably call them hills. But nonetheless, we do refer to them as mountains, and we have the popular mountains here. The most popular is Badger Mountain, and that's where you can hike. A lot of people will use that as a point to hike up. You can do a loop around it. You can go up and back. There's a lot of options, but you get some elevation gain. So that's a wonderful thing. In fact, we do live on hillsides here. It's not flat. I don't know if I mentioned, but this is the high desert in this area. And so we don't have a huge amount of evergreen trees right here in the area. But like I said, they're within an hour and a half, you are in the mountains any direction that you go. But we do have a lot of mountains. One of the drawbacks of the Tri-Cities, and probably the number one thing, if you ask anybody, what's the con of living in the Tri-Cities? I'll tell you what the first thing they'll say, guaranteed, the wind. It can be a little bit windy here. So you have to learn to live with the wind and tolerate the wind, and probably love the wind too. So I don't mind it so much. It's actually kind of exciting on those days where it's super blustery windy, because then you have to stay in the house and kind of get cozy, which I don't mind doing, because honestly, our weather is rather temperate. It's being from the high desert. We have in the wintertime, you got maybe 2 or 3 weeks of cold weather where it's down to 0, maybe somewhere in the negatives. Same thing in the summertime, 2 or 3 weeks where it gets over 100 degrees. Other than that, it's pretty temperate and it stays nice. And I have a cat joining me. What did we talk about? Let's talk about getting in and out of the Tri-Cities and maybe around the Tri-Cities on public transportation. So we still have cargo barges that will bring supplies, typically on the Snake River, into this area and move our agricultural and other types of materials. Like I said, we have a lot of agriculture around here, and so that's on the outlying areas. So we've got our Pasco Airport, and the Pasco Airport has 6 major airlines, and they have 11 destinations. Many of those are direct flights. So it's easy to get in and out, and believe it or not, the affordability of flying in and out of Pasco isn't that bad. You think of littler airports, it's a growing airport, and it's, oh my gosh, when I first came here in the early 80s, went to catch my first plane and I missed it. And I was running down the tarmac after the plane because I didn't realize it was taking off. I didn't know how the airline system worked. But I was able to run down the tarmac. Now we've got security in place. And as early as, or as late as the mid-2000s, I was flying in and out every week for work. And I would get to the airport literally 20 minutes before the flight was to take off. And that was crazy. But the morning I missed my flight because I discovered that the crew that checks you in then puts you through security and then puts you on the plane. Well, they close and lock the security when it's time to go put you on the plane. I missed my plane because I couldn't get through the gates. So anyway, learned a lesson, but it used to be 20 minutes. Now we've got our good hour and a half to get there because it's a lot more busy. We are the second largest grape growers in the country. So that would be second to, obviously, California. We have over 200 wineries within 50 miles. So if winery is a pastime of yours or wine tasting is a pastime of yours, you're gonna really love it here. There's, like I said, there's over 200 around in the Tri-City area itself. Then you go to Walla Walla, you go to Prosser, you go north of here. There's wineries really much everywhere. Whether you're thinking about moving here in the next month, in the next year, whatever, any questions you have, any areas that you would like me to give you further information about, please contact me. All of our information is in the description below, and so we are easily accessible and available to work with you in answering your questions, helping you explore, and finding your perfect place to live.